What is up, YouTube? Welcome to Ask Dev, episode, I think, 16 or 17. It's been a while since I've done a live video. I'm actually doing a live video from home today. But man, it's been a minute, man. To be quite honest, I've been trying to do a live video for quite a while, but for a while I've been able to do it simply because I usually use my phone. I use my phone usually to do live videos, but for some reason, the last couple, I think 2 months, Google did something where I'm pretty much unable to go do live videos on my phone anymore. And so I actually am working from home today. The main reason is because I have a strep throat. So I talked to my boss and I told him I think it'll be better if I work from home today, because if I went to work, I probably would get them sick because I already got my roommate sick also. But anyway, guys, what's up, everyone? It's good to see everyone, man. It's really, I'm not gonna lie, man. It's good to be back here on a live video. It's been such a long time. So as you guys know, what I usually do, right? And since it's been a long time, I'm just gonna say it again. What I usually do is that I actually go ahead and I talk about a certain topic, right? And as I'm talking about the topic, what I need you guys to do is go ahead and just ask questions in the chat right now. And as you guys ask questions in the chat after I talk about what I want to talk about, then we'll go ahead and answer any of your questions. But anyway, let me know if you guys can hear me clearly. I actually bought like a $300, $400 mic. Not for this. I'm actually recording some music again, just for old time's sake. But anyway, let me go ahead and let me get into the topic. Who's in here right now? Brahim, what's up? Yamamoto, Ibrahim, Omar. It's good to see everyone. So let me go ahead and go straight into the topic right now. Right. So what I want to go ahead and talk about is about everyday mistakes made by beginner developers. And I think it's really important to think of why is this so important to look over, is because I think so many people, what they usually do is that they you get into coding, and let's say you just got into a job, and what tends to happen is that you get into a job and you think you're all that, and what has happened often, and because I have a YouTube channel where it mainly talks about, for example, how to code, get a job. When you get a job, I've seen people who got laid off. I've seen people who got let go after a couple months. I've seen people who got let go after 2 weeks. And so what my goal is by this video is to help make sure that when you are either aspiring to be a developer or when you get your first developer job, you do not make that mistake like everyone else. And that's really important. That's extremely important. So let's go ahead and get into this right now. Okay, so what are the common mistakes made by beginner developers? Number one, I think the main one that stops everyone, so many people, let's say if not 70%, this is the actual statistic, but I'm just assuming 70–80% of the people who get into coding, the main reason that they do not succeed and get that job they want is because you lack self-confidence. And I think that's huge. Self-confidence is important. Even if you're just getting a job in the world outside of the tech field, even just to get that first job, you need confidence. If you're going through school and you want to be a doctor, you still need that confidence too, right? And so a new developer, what tends to happen is that a new developer, you tend to want to be perfect in everything. You want to write the perfect code. You want to be able to write a language fluently. Why is HTML taking so long to understand? And because of that, what can happen is that because your confidence drops way, way, way down there, what can happen is that you'll eventually, you'll go from studying code every single day or a couple hours a day to maybe studying code just 30 minutes every other day. And because of the lack of confidence, thinking, you know what, I don't think this will ever happen to me. You know what, I think me becoming a developer is pretty much impossible. So there's no point in me really putting effort anymore anyway. Then what can happen is that will stop you from reaching your goal. And I've said this before, but it's been a while since I've said it. This has happened to me. I went to learn Treehouse. I became a developer in 3 months. But before that, 3 months before that, I went on treehouse.com. I signed up, link in the description. I signed up with Treehouse, and after coding for just 2 weeks, I gave up thinking this will never happen to me. But what happened is that I told myself, you know what, treehouse.com, they have my blog on there too. They actually wrote, it's evidence, this is true. I told myself, you know what, if I don't go all out and learning code, I'll regret this forever. So I did it. 3 months later, now I'm here. And what do I mean by lacking self-confidence? This happens to me, believe it or not, even with YouTube also, right? Sometimes, your subscriber rate goes up and down. Sometimes your views go up and down. And sometimes you're thinking, people will come up and coming YouTubers, and they get really, really popular. And, they're channel blows up, and like, why is your channel not blowing up as much? And sometimes I can feel that too. Like, is this really worth it anymore? Am I really even, should I even keep doing this? Should I keep vlogging, making videos on YouTube? What should I do? Oh, why did people leave so many comments on one video and not this? Why so many dislikes? And what has happened to me in the past is that I would post less videos because of lacking confidence and just getting hard on yourself. But don't let that happen. That's why I'm back. But don't let that happen to you in coding. And that's really important. There's a lot to talk about this, so I'll try to touch as much as I can in a vlog, within here, and if not, in a vlog. I think another big mistake that people can make, and this has happened to me a lot, is just clicking that save button, meaning backing up your code. This has happened to me so many times at work. Now what I do is that I have a reminder that reminds me, it's in Atom, where it reminds me to save my code every couple minutes. And I think that's extremely important because what happens is that, all right, like this is how you can ask my manager. I'll probably have him in the video in the future where I'm actually working on a page, right? I'm working on a page. All this JavaScript is on there. It's insane. I made it look really beautiful. And I showed it to him like, hey, look how this is legit. This is nice. And what happens because I forgot to save it and actually I forgot to back it up. I actually accidentally saved another kind of code over it. And I erased everything. I closed my Atom, so the file is gone forever. I can't click undo, and I had to start over from scratch. And that sucks because at that time I had a bunch of projects I had to work on, and I couldn't work on it anymore simply because I didn't back it up. I think that's really important. What's up, Aaron in Beta? Hey guys, if Aaron in Beta is in here too, check them out. Another mistake. Okay, I'm only going to go over 2 more mistakes, and if you have any questions, make sure to ask these questions in this video, and I'll make sure to answer right away. Another mistake that you can make that can immediately show that you're a beginner, right? You know, like for example, when you see a kid that just went out to school, first grade, you see his handwriting, you can tell it's a kid. He's not good at writing. He doesn't know how to write properly. Actually, there's a lot of even adults right now that still can't write properly. But you can tell that by the writing, but it's the exact same thing even with coding, right? That's why what is very important is that we have proper code formatting, meaning we indent in the correct places. We have blank spaces in the correct places. And actually I was going to show this in another video. I'll probably do that in my next vlog. And I think that's something that we have to be able to do because having organized code shows how much you're even organized, how organized you are within the language yourself too. Last but not least, now there's a lot. I'll go okay, 2 more things and then I'll go to the questions. Another one is, you know, like when I go to Treehouse, when I was learning at Treehouse, one thing they teach you is that you have to comment a lot. You have to comment a lot. But one thing that new like aspiring developers might do way too much is that you comment way too much. The purpose of comments is just to it's solely just to document, right? Just in case when you go back to that, let's say that PHP file or to that HTML file or that script, you want to leave a comment only solely for if you come back, you don't remember what that script's supposed to do, you'll easily be able to get back on it and make the changes you need to do. Why is this so important? Because, and this is annoying, because some people will send me their code in JavaScript. Yes, I can write in JavaScript. Yes, I know JavaScript pretty well. I need to get better at it though, to be honest. What will happen is that people will send me the code, and they do this all the time, and I'll check it out, but they have no comments, and they expect me to understand what they're trying to write. Now, if it's just a small script, a couple lines, that's easy. But some people will send me a whole entire script of like JavaScript, assuming I'll be able to read it right like that, but I don't have the time to do that. So it's really important. Yes, you need to be able to comment you have to be really good at commenting, but don't comment way too much. And that's another mistake that you make. Okay, last but not least, there's a lot of things I want to go on and talk about this, and I'll probably do that in my next video. Last but not least is there are way too many aspiring developers or new developers. Even like I'm still a new developer. I've been coding for only 1.5 years with no school experience. Is that some people tend to have way too much confidence, thinking that you're too good. And why is this a big problem? Because when you join a company, you don't ask questions, and that's still my problem to this day too. You don't ask enough questions when you need to ask. You assume, you think that people look at you as if you need to know everything, but you don't, and they're not expecting you to know everything, especially if you're new to a company. What they can do is that if they see that you can't learn, or you can't ask questions, or you can't continue to grow, what can happen, and I've seen this before, is that they'll pretty much say like, all right, this guy isn't willing to learn. This guy thinks he's a know-it-all. Then we don't really need him. We want someone else. Especially if you're a new developer. And I think that's something that we have to really learn. For example, when I go to the gym, there's always a sign on the front of the gym saying, leave your pride at the door when you go into the gym, right? Because what can happen is people have lifted way too heavy weights and they hurt themselves. I have a friend who literally swollen her entire, like both of her kneecaps because she lifted way too heavy, thinking that she was still as strong when she's not. But yeah, so again, just to do ultimate review before we go into the questions in the chat, right, is that don't lack too much confidence, but at the same time, have enough confidence, right? Don't have too much confidence, but also don't be too low and don't look yourself too down. Number two, make sure that you don't forget to back up your code, especially if it's a big project. Small projects, maybe not too much. Number three or number four is making sure that you no longer have an improper coding format, but you are able to format and indent your code to make it look clean, easy, and nice to look at, to be honest. Last but not least, make sure you don't go all out with commenting. Make sure that you're able to only put the appropriate comments at the appropriate places that are really needed to make sure that you don't look like a noob as a programmer. But all right, that are a couple of steps or mistakes that developers commonly make. So let's go into the questions right now. Cool, we got about 30 people in here. Wow, there's a lot of people in here. What's up, everyone? Michael Thompson, what is up? Omar, Allen, George, what is up? Sami Muhammad, what is up? Omar Giger says, what's the popular mistakes about choosing the path of web designer or web developer? Oh shoot, that's a good question. I think, like common mistakes about, okay, choosing the path of a web developer. I think now I think a lot of people would think being a web designer is a bad idea, and I don't think that at all. The reason that I can create a page really well is because I have a good designer or that I can work with via doing UI UX who are much better at it than I am. And I have a friend who is just a UI UX web designer, and he makes bank because he's really good at it. Now, I think a big mistake is that people tend to look down on web designers thinking that they're nothing, but they're very valuable. And I see that from even like backend developers often too. And so I think a common mistake is not really knowing why you're doing something and what you're getting yourself into as well. Because being a web developer, you're constantly learning. You're always learning new languages, you're learning new frameworks, libraries, and etc. As a web designer, that yes, you learn UI UX, but literally that's just pretty also based on how creative you are too. All right, let's continue. Allenton, what's better to choose, online courses or a boot camp? I think it depends on how much you can afford. If you can afford to go to an online boot camp, I would recommend that too. I'll probably put a link in the description to Firehouse Project. But if you can't afford that, Team Treehouse is the way to go, man. Subin is asking, Chris, how much time did I spend each day the last 3 months to learn code? I only put about like 3 hours a day. That's it. Okay, Sakib is asking, Chris, I saw your video 2 weeks ago when you talked about how you got into programming while working behind a desk at a dead-end job. He says that he's been meaning to start learning how to code from the last 2 years. Hey, man, all it starts with is just putting in the work, man. You just have to start. That's it. If you can't afford Team Treehouse $25 a month, to go to udacity.com. You can learn code there for free, literally. And I learned JavaScript from there. I learned CSS from there. So Udacity is good also. Cool. Okay. Nigerian Prince. I'm guessing you're from Nigeria, man. Says, what? Wow, must be butthurt not being a real dev. Anyway, so let's see. Anyway, any more questions on here? Matsus is asking, what kind of project should I do with Python as a beginner? Dude, I'm sorry, I don't work for any Python, so I can't I can't say anything about that. Dang, so that's all the questions for today. That's a first. It's probably because I'm not doing, see, when I do a live video on my phone, the messages are like real time. Here on YouTube Live, on my computer, the messages are delayed by like 2 or 3 minutes. So I guess that's all the questions that people have. All right. Well, anyway, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and head out. I'm on my lunch break. My lunch break ends in about like 5 minutes, so I'm gonna get back to work as I work from home. And I'm sick, so hopefully I get well soon. Oh, last question. Here you go. Rafael Hernandez is saying, is it better to specialize in front and back end or have a broad knowledge? Rafael, you should specialize in one thing, front end or back end, but it's good to know the other. What I would say is learn HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and then go back end. That's the way to go. That is if you want to get a job pretty easily. Anything else? What's better to start with HTML, CSS, JavaScript? Yes, I think that's the best way to go. And then get into backend. Literally, that is what you need to do. That is what is required now to get a job as a developer. Yes, it's harder, but hey, we don't have to go to college and get paid to do this. Like, you could teach yourself, and it's, it'll take a lot of effort, discipline, and determination. But when you get there, guys, man, it's so worth it. All right, guys, I got to go. By the way, I'm not sure if I ever showed you guys, but here's my camera equipment. Here's my, look at this, man. This is my $800 lens, $1,300 camera, $200 mic, and here is, oh, I have another mic here. All right, guys, I got to go. I'll see you guys later. Thank you for watching. This is Krishan. This is Life Road Developer, and I'm out.